Good evening. We trust you're enjoying your Easter weekend from wherever you're watching us from Kenya and around the world. This is the Legends Edition coming to you live from Broadcasting House in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm Edmond Mudibo. Top in this bulletin. The bane of road carnage. 8 perish, several injured in Migori.
We have enhanced security in social places and gatherings, including places of worship, the malls, entertainment joints, so that mwananchi goes about his activities without fear or any hitch.
Keeping safe during Easter. Kenyans assured of security during long weekend. And we bring you part 1 of our feature series, Tana River Paradox, Quest for Resources. Our sign language interpreter for this evening is Lucy Mwaura. We're glad you made Legends Edition your choice. Police in Migori town had a tough time rescuing victims of the deadly road accident that left more than 8 people dead and at least a dozen others injured. Police say some of the first responders chose to loot the ill-fated lorry instead of helping evacuate those injured in the Saturday morning accident.
A chaotic free-for-all in Migori town. Members of the public scrambling to cut away bags of rice. Never mind that 6 victims of the Saturday morning accident lay dead and scores of others are desperate for help.
Wakati imeanguka ikiwa na mchele, wananchi wameanza kukimbia wakianza kuiba mchele. So ikawa officers wetu wana rescue wale majeruhi na huku watu wanang'ana kuiba mchele.
As police and emergency teams scrambled to vacate the injured, 100 bags of rice were being carted away by locals who saw an opportunity to benefit from the carnage.
Haikuwa tabia mzuri kwa wananchi. Huwezi kuwa unakimbilia kuiba mchele na huku watu wameumia.
The accident occurred at around 7 a.m. after the driver of the lorry, which was headed towards Isebania, lost control of the vehicle and rammed into pedestrians and boda riders who had parked along the busy Isebania Migori road.
Sasa kwa hivyo tunaweza kuomba serikali ya Migori, tafadhali mtuangalie vile hizo magari pembeni za barabara zinaweza kutolewa.
Magari yanakuanga mengi hapa njiani sana, hakuna mtu ambaye huwa anazidhibiti. So yafaa serikali hii iweke polisi ama watu ambao wanaweza wakadhibiti magari ili zisisimame ovyo ovyo njiani.
Investigations have been launched to ascertain the cause of the carnage, even as Acting Deputy Inspector of Police called on motorists to ensure their vehicles are mechanically sound before embarking on journeys.
Drivers must maintain the permitted speed on our roads, and they should slow down when approaching major towns, because roads in major towns are normally crowded. They should also ensure that the vehicles they are deploying on our roads are serviceable.
A dozen people were rushed to Migori Referral Hospital, with 3 still in critical condition.
Meanwhile, the National Police Service has assured Kenyans of their security during the Easter festive season. Acting Deputy Police Inspector General Abdallah Komesha says there is heightened vigilance to ward off criminal activities during the long Easter weekend. Komesha is urging members of the public to volunteer information to the police should they come across those hell-bent on causing trouble.
Acting Deputy Inspector General of Police Abdallah Komesha says Kenyans deserve a peaceful and secure Easter holiday.
We have beefed out security in estates where we know that some of the occupants may have traveled to their rural areas to enjoy the festive season, and therefore the houses are vacant. So we're going to ensure that all the vacant houses the property therein is secure.
Christian faithful welcomed the Holy Weekend on Friday and will keep a vigil on Saturday night in keeping with the centuries-old commemoration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
We have enhanced security in social places and gatherings, including places of worship, the malls, entertainment joints, so that mwananchi goes about his activities without fear or any hitch.
As the faithful throng places of worship on Saturday night, the police are urging the public to collaborate with security agencies in maintaining law and order.
Give intelligence to the police on suspicious individuals and obey police guidelines and instructions so that we minimize crime in the country.
The government is urging Kenyans to take advantage of the ongoing long rains in parts of the country to plant more trees. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua noted that increased tree planting will see the country achieve the national goal of 15 billion trees by the year 2032.
With the prolonged erratic weather having negatively affected the country's forest cover, the government continues to urge Kenyans to plant and nurture more trees to mitigate the effects of climate change. And with the long rains pounding most parts of the country after 5 failed seasons, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says this is the ideal time to plant seedlings.
Confident that with the ongoing rains, we will restore our climate, we will restore our livelihoods, people will grow more food, and will attain food security.
The Deputy President also lauded efforts by residents of Hombe and Kaburu Forest in Nyeri County for their conservation efforts, which have kept the Mount Kenya Forest Water Tower intact.
This forest is a reminder that with resilience, with commitment, with resolve, human beings can achieve their freedom and whatever they desire.
Residents thanked the government for distribution of fertilizer. For the Legends edition, I'm Zainab Said.
We now turn to matters legislation, where a proposal seeking to criminalize homosexuality and ban comprehensive sexual education in schools is currently before the National Assembly. The Family Protection Bill, sponsored by the Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament Peter Kaluma, which also seeks to outlaw the promotion, recruitment and funding of homosexuality and LGBTQ behavior, comes in the wake of the controversial pro-LGBTQ ruling by the Supreme Court recently.
Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament Peter Kaluma has vowed to fight the LGBTQ group's registration in courts and in Parliament. Kaluma says he has submitted the Family Protection Bill to the National Assembly. If passed into law, the bill will criminalize homosexuality, same-sex marriages, and any hint of LGBTQ activities and lobbying in the country. The bill seeks to increase the maximum punishment for anyone found guilty of same-sex relations to death. Further, the legislative proposal, currently before the Budget and Appropriations Committee, will uphold the prior rights of parents and guardians to their children's education. From the Budget Committee, the bill will be forwarded to the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee for pre-publication scrutiny. It is from here that the bill will be published and debated in Parliament. Geshoki Washira, Legends Edition.
And in our political wrap, we find that the United Democratic Alliance, UDA, has taken its new members' recruitment drive to Siaya County. This even as the group of youths from the region accused the section of political leaders of maintaining a hard-line political stand in the proposed bipartisan negotiations between Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition and the Kenya Kwanza.
Under the umbrella of Movement for Defense of Democracy, the youth in Siaya County accused a section of political leaders of trying to derail the proposed bipartisan negotiations between Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance and Kenya Kwanza. They decried the tendency by both parties to throw bombs at each other, saying it is not good for national cohesion.
Kenyans are crying. Kenyans are going through difficulties, of which we as people of Kenya, we all have equal shares within this nation. All of us, we are equal. And we want them to know all these things that Raila Amolo Odinga is talking about is not about Raila Amolo Odinga. It's for all of Kenyans.
We want to make it very clear that we are not interested in handshake. And if our pleas cannot be heard, then we are not going to back down. We are going to do our demonstrations. We can even do it daily until all our pleas are met.
I want to urge them that the direction which Baba has picked is not a direction per se. It's a direction of calculation. And we are going to get a way forward come next week.
Meanwhile, the United Democratic Alliance pitched in Siaya County to recruit new members. Politicians in the region earlier to UDA led the initiative that saw more than 300 members enlisted to join the ruling coalition. During a meeting in Ugunja constituency, the UDA leadership in Siaya eyed elected leaders to support President William Ruto as he works to deliver his development agenda for the nation.
Sisi watu wa Maingo, Ruwe na Wangotong tufike 600. Tumekubaliana? So that saa zile serikali nagawa vitu, pia nyinyi kama watu wa Ruwe Ruwe location mnapata kitu ye?
At the same time, Orange Democratic Movement leaders in Kilifi County have hailed Azimio la Umoja for selecting Malindi Member of Parliament Amina Mnyanzi to be among the 7 members team that will be in the national dialogue aimed at uniting the country.
Tumekongamana hapa katika ofisi ya Mheshimiwa Amina, mbunge wetu wa Malindi. Hakika tuna furaha ya ajabu. Na tuna maneno ambayo tunataka tuzungumze sisi kina mama, vijana na wakazi wa Malindi. Hasa kuhusu mtoto wetu ambaye ameinuliwa juu kabisa.
Amina ni kiongozi. Tumeona kina mama viongozi Kilifi County hii ambao hata kuzungumza bunge bado hawajazungumza. Hoja bado hawajazitoa. Mahitaji ya Kilifi County bado hatujayapata kwa sababu tumepeleka viongozi. Lakini Amina kwa miezi ya kuhesabu ameweza kusimama na kutetea watu wa Malindi.
This is a section of MPs in Nairobi County. Azimio leader Raila Odinga to allow the bipartisan talks to take place without giving conditions and ultimatums. Embakasi North Member of Parliament James Gakuya says the negotiations can only take place within the constitutional framework. Tilio Marco for Legends Edition.
The KCA University has launched a cycling tour aimed at racing to raise funds for scholarships to support needy students at the institution. Led by the university's Vice-Chancellor, the team of cyclists began the race in Nairobi and cycled all the way to Meru, where they were received by the area Deputy County Commissioner.
Flanked by a team of 11 international cyclists, the KCA University fraternity embarked on a journey to raise some 25 million shillings to aid those unable to pay tuition at the university.
We are racing to raise funds for scholarships with all levels of training. We train from undergraduate to PhD degrees, and for this particular moment we set out at 4 a.m. from Nairobi, and we have just arrived in the state of Meru. We'll be spending the night here.
Meanwhile, Embakasi North MP James Gakuya has called on the opposition leader to give a chance to the bipartisan talks without giving conditions and ultimatums.
Ni mzuri watu wakubali kwamba will of the people ikitendeka tendeka, na haki ya wananchi wakimaliza wape haki yao.
Elsewhere, youth and parents in Kwaregi village in Lari constituency, Kiambu County, have been urged to embrace the Technical and Vocational Institute that was built in the area by the government.
The main challenge is the uptake by the community has not been very positive, and that is why we have decided to be holding periodical stakeholders forums so that we can enlighten them on what is happening at Lari TVC.
Principal Cosmas Mwangi says currently the institution has only 67 students out of a potential 500 learners.
Students who from around here want to go to institutions that are far away. So this is one of the purposes why we called this day, to embrace on the people to accept this institution, to bring their students here.
Finally, Narok County First Lady Agnes Ntutu celebrated Easter by donating food and clothes to needy students at Poroko Special School in Kilgore Central.
Tunahitaji watoto wetu waje wakuwe watu wa maana kesho. Tutapata wapi first ladies wa kesho? Tutapata wapi governors?
The county's First Lady urged the residents to stop hiding children living with disability and also take good care of young girls by helping them avoid teenage pregnancies. Arnold Feather for Legends Edition.
Time now for a break where we wish that you don't go too far because there's plenty on the other side with the Tana River Paradox Quest for Resources feature part 1. Stay with us.
Nafasi yako ya kuwa mdosi wako. Jiunge na washindi tufanye biashara. Kuwa mshindi. Mozartbet.
To get Skizatune Hail Mary, dial *811 *963 hash.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
To get Hail Mary, dial *811 *963 hash. *811 *963 hash.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
Cameras at your border crossing captured a person of interest. Tunaamini kwamba Imran Saidi ndio Burhan's new bomb maker.
Tulikuwa na Burhan's new bomb maker na tukamwachilia.
Jamaa hakuna itilafu yoyote hapo chini, sawa?
Tukishajua pale ameshikwa, tuta proceed with Operation Silent Night.
Hii ni lele. Ngoma bado. Wahuen asosono.
Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto. Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Kisha weka star na nambari yako ya simu. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000.
Aulali.
Lipa kisha subiri draw. Welala. Nitakutimizia ndoto zako. Milioni 2 usiamini. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
Welcome back. We're glad you're still with us. Time now for our feature where we get into Tana River paradox, the quest for resources. Drought that is ravaging several counties has not spared the Tana River County despite having a fresh water body cutting across it. Pastoral communities in the region continue to migrate in search of dwindling resources in areas that practice agriculture. This portends resource-based conflicts within the county as the residents grapple with challenges brought by climate change.
Despite being home to Kenya's longest river, Tana River County grapples with a paradox of scarcity amid plenty condemning the county among those in the alarmed drought phase. Waning pastures and inadequate resources to utilize water from the river is a recipe for resource-based conflicts. On our way to Tana North to assess the full extent of the drought, we notice a cloud of dust from afar. This, the locals inform us, is as a result of pastoralists on the move to water their livestock or migrating in search of pasture. As we get closer, we first see a herd of cattle and then a group of women and children carrying heavy loads on the beast of burden. It is evident that the latter is true, a migration in search of pasture and a better life. Most of those migrating are women who move with their prized possessions. Here, the community's over-reliance on rain-fed agriculture has been rendered such a gamble by the adverse climate change. The influx by pastoralists exacerbate the scramble for scarce resources. World Vision tries to ease the pressure on these scarce resources by rolling out a livestock off-take program. This also serves to cushion the pastoral communities from the often massive losses of livestock to drought and offer them food in return for livestock that has been saved from perishing.
And because of their reluctance to part with their livelihood sources, which it has both sentimental value as well as cultural, a time comes when the carrying capacity of the land is not able to sustain the number of herd or the amount of herd they've got, and this one forces them, or some of them, to start moving.
Pastoralists are also educated on smart practices such as destocking, range management, and grazing besides emergency feed support.
As World Vision, there are various modules for training farmers that we have adapted during emergencies on how you can work alongside farmers to be able to help them mitigate their situation.
Bangale Sub-County Deputy Commissioner Joseph Kipkorir says drought has disrupted lives for those in arid and semi-arid lands.
Unapata wasasi wamama na mifuko na wanama na watoto. Throughout of the school feeding program, watoto wameweza kuletewa chakula kwa shule. So hata kama wazazi watahama, watoto watabaki na familia, part of the family. Kama ni water tracking, tunaomba pia wahisani wengine watusaidie. Kuna county government wanasaidia upande moja.
As we wind up our activities for the day, we track Khadija Isa, who was a beneficiary of the livestock offtake. For her, she at least returned home with food for her children. Drought decimated her livestock from 30 sheep and goats to just 3 sheep and 1 goat.
Nilikuwa na mbuzi 30. Kondoo na mbuzi jumla yote ni 30. Zikaingia ukame, zikakufa, zikabaki kondoo 3, mbuzi 1. Maoni yangu kitu inasema usaidie wananchi msaada.
She has resorted to other activities like selling firewood to make ends meet. Khadija asks the government for long-lasting interventions to address the dire situation.
This may be a simple meal to many, but to Khadija and her family and many families alike, this is a significance of hope. a sign to keep holding on for better days that may lay ahead. For KBC Channel 1, I am Teresa Mutai.
Time now for a second break, but don't go too far, because on the other side of the break, we have sports news brought to you by Topi Liambila.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya usini record, bonyeza star 811 star 396 hash.
Unakata pia kabaya Wakenya mnakuanga nako ya kuweka mtu kwa speaker alafu mnarekodi sauti yake bila ruhusa. Nikipata sauti yangu ina trend huko nje na kuna pesa napata, mtajua mimi mlu yako na roya na sina roya binadamu. Usini record.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii usini record, bonyeza star 811 star 396 hash.
Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto. Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Kisha weka star na nambari yako ya simu. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000.
Aulali.
Lipa kisha subiri draw. Welala. Nitakutimizia ndoto zako. Milioni 2 usiamini. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
What is it you long for?
That you see me as I am.
He's asked for you, Mary. You need to make many sons.
I need to decide.
Decide.
I can't marry a friend. I'm not made for that life. The world will only change as we change. It is up to us.
You love my son, don't you? Then you must prepare yourself.
For what?
To lose him.
Sports News is brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Kurumisha ndege. Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your wind. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Good evening and welcome to the sports segment of the Legends Edition this Saturday evening. I'm Topi Liambila. Former World Under-20 3,000-meter bronze medalist Nancy Cherop, East Africa 5,000-meter junior champion Diana Rotich, and Shadrach Rono are among 50 athletes who have been selected to represent the country in the Under-18 and Under-20 Junior Athletics Championships set to be held in Lusaka, Zambia. The athletes were selected during the national trials held at the Nyayo National Stadium.
50 athletes have been selected to represent the country in the second Africa Under-18 and Under-20 Junior Athletics Championships, slated for the 29th April through to the 3rd of next month in Lusaka, Zambia.
Huko naenda kupata, niko na imani nitaenda kwa kwanza, na pia nikitrain vizuri nina imani nitatoa rekodi ya 5:19.
Nataka tukulete medali, lakini nataka kuimprove sana na my time kuche chini kidogo ya 9:43.
According to the Athletics Kenya Director of Youth Development, Barnaba Korir, the team is a blend of both experienced athletes and rookies. He says that the target is to retain the Under-18 title, which they won 3 years ago in Ivory Coast, as well as winning the Under-20 overall title.
The results have shown itself. We have very good performance in some areas, and of course, there's some areas that we have to look into because some of the athletes might not be very, very strong. But then we want to take a team that is going to do very well during this championship in Lusaka, Zambia.
The team is scheduled to report to the residential camp at the Kasarani on Wednesday next week. They will then depart for Zambia on the 27th of this month, ahead of the championships scheduled to be held between the 29th of this month and the 3rd of next month. For Legends Edition, I'm Fred Njogu.
Still at the same venue, the Nyayo National Stadium, the Kenya Prisons women volleyball team has qualified for the semi-finals of the inaugural Paul Bitok volleyball tournament after beating Nairobi Prisons by 3 straight sets at the Nyayo Stadium Indoor Arena. The tournament, which brought together 21 teams, ends tomorrow at the same venue in the Nyayo National Stadium.
Kenya Prisons produced stellar performance after thrashing Nairobi Prisons by 3 straight sets in the quarter-final match played at the Nyayo Stadium. In other matches, Africa champions KCB also qualified for the semi-finals after beating Kenya Army by 3 straight sets of 25-18, 25-6 and 25-16. In the men's competition, Trail Blazers beat Equity Bank by 3-1 to book a place in the semi-finals. Kenya Defence Forces also qualified after beating Kenya Airport Police Unit by 3 straight sets of 25-15, 25-18 and 25-20.
So there's a scouting going on. A lot of coaches outside are interested with the Kenyan players. So I believe at the end of this year, we will have many players who are going to play professional. And out of what has happened, this tournament will continue. We will always have this tournament. We will not stop. We will have it every year, and it will be international. And if possible, we can move even outside Kenya and have it in Uganda or Rwanda.
Africa champions are using the 2-day event to prepare for the Continental Championship set to be held later this year in Tunisia. Rwanda is the only foreign team which is taking part in the event. Kingo Rimongi for Legends Edition.
And from Singapore, the rugby reporters at the National Rugby Sevens team, Shujaa, has dropped to the classification matches in the 9th round of the HSBC World Rugby Series in Singapore. After losing all their Group C matches, Shujaa will now face Canada tomorrow in the 9th place quarter-final match.
Both teams will be excited to get out here for another run. Now in Singapore, good memories for a lot of these Kenyan boys.
Shujaa started their campaign on a sour, losing their opening match 26-19 to France. They further lost 21-19 to USA in their second, and then wrap up their group campaign with a 33-17 loss to Uruguay.
Kenya against the run of play. Brilliant. Herman Hamwa. He'll fire up this crowd and touches down for the Kenyans.
Time off. The result is a replica of their previous campaign in Hong Kong, where they lost all their group matches.
Short with Lucas Lecamp, player that grew up in Hong Kong, so was back home last weekend, if you will. His father played for the national side there. Channel goes to Talatalapusi, linking up. Here comes Lucas Lecamp right now. Lecamp makes it look very easy. Off the mark, beating defenders. And the United States have their second.
The team will now play Canada in the 9th place quarter-final match tomorrow. For Legends Edition, I'm Sela Onyango.
Can they get that Tanga that started the breakout?
A European shooting champion, Daniel Rinjatic from Croatia, is among shooters who are battling for top prize at the IDPA African Shooting Championships at the Kirigiti Shooting Range in Kiambu. The competition hosted by the Ngao Kenya Defence Pistol Federation attracted over 250 shooters from 13 countries.
The event has attracted competitors, civilian licensed gun owners, as well as members of the disciplined forces facing off against European shooters, among them European champion Daniel Jatic from Croatia, who is competing in Kenya for the first time.
But mainly it's mentality, because you need to stay whole game focus.
because of the weather. We are in the open. Everything can ruin your mind and influence on your performance. So the focus is the main thing. If you can get stable from the beginning to the end, and of course, hydrate, supplements, eat. You need to be like Puff.
Mohamed Omar, a masterclass shooter, appealed to the Ministry of Sports to support their efforts of holding more shooting competitions in the country and also introduce the sports in grassroots levels.
Different guns shoot different divisions based on the length, the loading is different, and but we've got the pistol carbines, the longer guns, the loading is also different. So basically each division competes against its level.
The championship will come to an end tomorrow with winners in each category bagging different prizes.
I tried my best, but I'm positive that I will be going home with the CCP title. I'm positive I'll become the CCP Africa champion this year. And we hope for the best. I really hope for the best. I really hope it goes as planned. And we'll see the outcome tomorrow.
The competition, organized by the NGAO, Kenya Defensive Pistol Federation, attracted over 250 shooters from 13 countries.
You keep shooting until it gets out of control in terms of range. The MD could easily call it to pause, but yeah, that's how sport is, because IDPA simulates real-life scenarios, and in real life, you never know whether you get caught up in the rain or in the sun, or so you just have to deal with matters as they come.
For Legends Edition Sports, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
And on football, FKF Premier League leaders Gor Mahia will stretch their lead at the top of the table if they beat Kariobangi Sharks tomorrow in a league match at the Moi International Sports Centre, Kasarani. Kogalo tops the league standings with 46 points, 4 ahead of defending champions Tusk FC, will also face Sofapaka tomorrow at their Ruaraka backyard.
Gor Mahia will be looking to extend their lead on top of the log when they play Kariobangi Sharks tomorrow at the Kasarani Stadium. The team is leading with 46 points, 4 ahead of defending champions Tusker FC. Kogalo has played 22 matches this season and won 13. Tusker FC will face Sofapaka at Ruaraka grounds. In other matches, Talanta FC will play Wazito FC, Vihiga take on Mathare United, while Nairobi City Stars will look horns with Posta Rangers. Nzoia Sugar will square it out with Bidco United. Police FC will entertain Leopards. Ulinzi Stars will host KCB and Kakamega Homeboys face Bandari. For Legends Edition, I'm Sela Onyango.
Ho-ho is a traditional sport that dates back to ancient India. It is the second most popular traditional tag game in the Indian subcontinent after Kabaddi. The game is now taking shape in the country with rapid growth. Our reporter Kingori Mwangi takes us through the paces to give us a glimpse of what exactly this ho-ho as a sport is.
Coco is a tag game of India. Its origin is as old as Mahabharata, with strategies and tactics derived from special military defensive strategy bridged by expert warrior Abhimanyu. His style of fighting reflects the concept of ring play, a defensive tactic in the game, as Simon Mbogwa explains.
Coco, as it is termed, Coco, originates from a sport that entails tapping on one another. But this is just a sport that entails markings on the field and only 2 poles on each end of the field. After that, when you have the players, only 12 players from each team, you are good to go.
For a beginner, this is what one must learn about the rules.
Chaser is expected at all times to stick to the chaser block, irrespective of the durated time they are supposed to be on the play. And a chaser will only leave the chaser block when they are only tapped by an active chaser.
At the start of play, the active chaser starts off in one of the free zones as the game begins.
The blow of the whistle after the sides have been determined from the toss of the coin, and when between the two teams, when a team defines that, chooses that they will be the chasers, they automatically become the people running after the opponent team. And points are gained by either tapping. When I run after a defender and tap on them, that's a single point for the chaser team. And when I run after the defender still and I do a complete flat dive, or at times we call it the sky dive, you gain 2 points.
And how is Coco different from other indigenous Indian sports like Kabaddi?
Coco is not much of a contact like Kabaddi is, because Kabaddi entails much of the raiding and a little bit of energy and struggling down somebody after you raid them. But Coco is just a matter of tapping. The contact that we have in Coco is only in tapping. So that is the big difference, I would say, for Coco.
With a lot of fun aspects to the game, it is slowly gaining popularity in the country.
We are creating a sport of inclusivity among us all that can be played by anybody, irrespective of your tribe, your race, your religion. Come to Coco and we grow together.
And this is Coach Simon's plea to the government.
If we can bring the countries together, I believe we can have somewhere where something can be done. And we have a Coco Arena down there and we can even play it. We can host the countries. Yes, I'm calling on board our ministry, our Minister of Sports, our CS. Welcome on board and understand what is Coco.
This game being a personal development tool for a player that takes up the challenge, it also fosters teamwork, loyalty and agility. The Federation is working forward to ensure the game grows in the country. Reporting for KBC Channel 1 from Nairobi, I'm Kingori Mwangi.
An interesting report there from Kingori Mwangi on the Hoho game. Now, on the international scene, Manchester United strengthened their grip on the top four finish and kept Everton deep in relegation trouble with a one-sided 2-0 victory at the Old Trafford. Scott McTominay's well-taken first-half effort and Anthony Martial's first Premier League goal since December were enough to give United the victory.